Good morning, everybody. I'm Moises, Another Truth on YouTube. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I do appreciate the time that you have taken to listen to something I have to say. I just want to talk about the Sniperwolf Jacksfilms situation. I know I'm kind of late in the game here, the last rolling stock to roll in to town here, so leave it up to me to be the last one or one of the last people to comment on the last bit of hype there is about this situation. So I'm not familiar with these content creators whatsoever. In my preliminary background research of them, at least background, what I mean is the research that I did about channel stats, the feud between the two, and so on, and YouTube's response, I do have an opinion. And yes, commentary channels, we could be very frivolous, pointless, not have a lot to say that is worth anything, but I wouldn't discount us quite quickly on that, because I think that the more people that bring attention to this situation, the better. Now, I'm not monetized at all. I'm not here to seek or gain any type of clout. There's no way I could get it at this point. I'm not monetized or anything. I have more of a concern about the safety issue of people in a community than I am about two bickering YouTube content creators. But that said, now I look at the power dynamics between Jacksfilms and Sniperwolf. Obviously, Jacksfilms is, from what I understand from a couple of things that I viewed, funnier. He's far more intelligent, more clever, and Sniperwolf kind of bends to this dumbass in distress and has used people's content very controversially, not credit them, not give the original content creators the respect of acknowledging them in a meaningful way, or even criticizing or creating content with it in a transformative and meaningful way that could bring education, interest, entertainment. It just seemed like her format is to do as little as possible while taking someone else's content and sort of using that as the backdrop to play this empty-headed character of hers. Now, I do not know her educational background. I do not know who she is day in and day out. I'm referring to her character. Now, I definitely think she broke character by showing up at his house, at Jacksfilms' house, and filming the whole thing on her Instagram account, which is fucking awful, and saying this is where he lives, he should come out, putting him on the spot late at night when he's home safe doing his own work with his family there and everything. So not only did this twit film this with lots of viewers. Now I think she has over 5 million subscribers on Instagram, whereas on YouTube she has, I think, 34 million, which that hasn't changed according to Social Blade. But Social Blade, I'm not sure how quite accurate that is at this point, but she's not hemorrhaging support as far as her fandom is concerned, even after this. Now, doing that on Instagram to harass another YouTube content creator, a colleague, regardless if there is a feud between them, I don't see it as a particular feud in any sense of the word. I think that Jacksfilms would be well within his right to criticize a content creator essentially reappropriating other people's content to kind of make it into her own without her doing very little of it to earn that money. And maybe that is the character that she plays. But when we're talking about intellectual property, when we're talking about integrity, now I may not be using those words exactly as they are meant to be, but that is how I see that as somebody taking someone else's property and incorporating it into their own without crediting them. Sometimes that can be in words, sometimes that is in visuals, like photos, but especially in videos. Because if I were to look at her videos, I wouldn't really know where they come from, what context she's coming from when she's reacting to these things. And these reactions are not reactions. They're just, oh, uh, type of reactions. It's when I look at a video, if I'm going to do a reaction video like that live, I want to show my surprise. I want to show, wait a minute, what's going on here? And trying to figure it out with everybody else, or show people how I come to that conclusion naturally. Now, sometimes I'll make some stuff that is a late reaction. And then sometimes it's just commentary because I've had time to think about it, which is what I do mostly anyway, is just kind of sit down with it and think about it. I didn't see any of these elements in some of the videos that I had viewed. And I'm part of the crowd where she had a lot of views since this news came out. And I'm among that just because I want to see what's going on. And maybe that is adding to the problem. Anyway, now the issue here may not even be both of them. Well, first of all, what she did she should have been yeeted off the platforms, both Instagram and YouTube, respectively, and all of her channels. All of her channels should have been jettisoned pretty much because they're useless piles of shit that just take up space in the YouTube sphere. They have nothing to do with anything of importance, especially when it's predicated on, in my opinion, theft, fraud, and so on. Now, that said, the fact that she showed up to this man's home in his neighborhood unannounced. It's one thing to drive through, if you're passing through, you might have a friend who lives in the area, stuff like that. She was doing some level of work in the area, doxed him, and she did dox him by every sense of the word, because it doesn't matter if she snooped around and found his information on Google. She can play that off as, well, it was on Google, he put it on Google. The fact of the matter is that it's not something that she should be looking for in order to threaten and shame him, which is exactly, in my opinion, what she attempted to do when she showed up at his house late at night and essentially telling him to come out to talk to him. And I don't think she was interested in doing that. She was interested in shaking him up and causing great emotional disturbance and discomfort. So, but unfortunately, it has not only has an impact on her, impact on him, it has an impact on the community in which he lives, because now no one is safe there. Because and I'm sure, like Colleen, she has a lot of unsavory, unbalanced people ready to jump at the opportunity to attack her opponents. This could be by late night stalking, disrupting the neighborhood, making people feel unsafe, inviting unsavory characters. Who knows? I mean, anybody who's breaking the law on their behalf, on a content creator's behalf, are dangerous. They're dangerous. So I'm not sure what she thought she was doing. She has 34 million subscribers. Her YouTube was fully monetized at one point. She makes enough money to afford a fleet of, or I should say an entire team of mitigators, lawyers, counselors, specialists, people to help her, with her impulse control, help her with her PR, help her with any legal matters. Now, if they're anything like Colleen's lawyers and kind of fucking up things by saying that Colleen's Beyonce remix wasn't a minstrel show, well, I wouldn't have much confidence in the people defending her anyway. Now, I don't know if she went against their advice or anything, which I'm pretty sure if we compare it to Colleen, she might have. But this was intent to harm somebody. What she did was not a joke. It was not funny. While I think she's an idiot, I also think she is diabolical, and she knows exactly what she did when she showed up there that night. And that what's more grave about this situation is YouTube's reaction to it. We've all seen it and complained about it. So YouTube gave her a temporary slap on the wrist at first. Now, I went through a Time article about this. It came out a few days ago, and in it was the embedded kind of Twitter reactions to YouTube's reaction to it. YouTube's announcement about it, saying that they YouTube said it on X or Twitter that they had temporarily disabled monetization for her. But as somebody pointed out, they added in a particular plugin or extension that allowed them to see that only one of those videos were demonetized. Now, I'm not too familiar with the software and its plugin to make that determination, but I wouldn't put it past YouTube to skirt around the issues like that because they enable a certain type of content creator. And they want to make as much, YouTube as an entity wants to make as much money as possible. It's profits over public safety. Their terms of service doesn't mean anything. The goalposts can be changed at any time to serve higher, or I shouldn't say higher, but bigger YouTube people, that even when they mess up, they have more chances of kind of fixing it. Now, YouTube doesn't really give a shit about SSSniperwolf's well-being, her poor impulse control, her abusive and emotionally violent nature. Doesn't care. They're very happy to feed into that as long as their bottom line is met. So they're essentially fucking both SSSniperwolf and Jacksfilms in that regard, in my opinion. Now, I did hear from the commentary pipeline, that her monetization has become full demonetization. Now, to go back to the temporary demonetization, I don't know exactly if she reaped any of the benefits of any of her videos on her primary channel. It was accused of her that she had sort of siphoned that into her alternative videos, her other videos, especially the videos that were demonetized. So her channel as it is, I don't think was totally temporarily, when I mean totally, all of her channels, all of her videos were temporarily disabled. Monetization was demonetized. I think that YouTube probably did do that for one video or two videos or something to kind of save face while trying to collect on the others. I'm not sure whether or not she benefited, that even if YouTube still played videos on her content, whether or not she benefited from that or not, I don't know. Because sometimes I have videos on my Greenline MBTA extension video. I don't make any money from that, but there are ads placed on that anyway. But I don't know how different that is for a mega YouTube content creator like Sniperwolf. Anyway, so in the pipeline, there was some information that came out that she was fully demonetized. What does that mean? I don't know. I can't find any information so far that she was fully demonetized, either on her channel fully, and that means no videos, no ads at all. That includes anything that YouTube could benefit from, and her alternative channels. I don't know if she still has an Instagram account. I haven't been on there, and what that means for her there. So I think for me, I'm a little confused as to what discipline she actually received. I don't think having a presence on YouTube, even without monetization, is appropriate given the situation, because she set up a man to be seriously injured. It doesn't have to, we don't have to wait for something to happen to have that happen. The fact that she already broke the rules, and maybe it's not specifically clear, and this is how YouTube kind of blurs those specifics in case they want to fall back on something to try to continue to make money when public outrage emerges. But as far as an average user is concerned, and I think to me that is enough to make that connection, that she should have been, at the very least, temporarily barred from accessing the platform in any capacity, and that her channel is temporarily suspended until an investigation happens around that. I also don't appreciate YouTube victim blaming Jacksfilms for that, because he did nothing to invite her to harm him in his community. And emotional harm is harm. Making someone feel insecure in their home by showing up in the fucking middle of the night without being asked, without being offered, even if he goaded her to do it, to find him and to fuck around and stuff like that. She should know better. She should know better. Say, nope, I'm not going to break the terms of service. I'm not going to put myself or anybody else in jeopardy. The whole community could be affected by this. But she doesn't think that way. But still, that's not something that I saw him do. I did not see him actively do these things. But even that, she would still have to employ self-control and say, no, I'm not going to do that. He even said, I guess, in an interview or somewhere, that he's never really had this situation happen to him. But I'm just reporting what's in the pipeline of this information that's being put out, so I'm not certain. But I haven't heard any other incidences. Now, people have gone back into Sniperwolf's videos and they pulled up a controversial video supposedly about her interacting with a minor, but there was a question about a bot. But even if there was a bot involved, she should conduct herself in a way that is respectful, knowing that there could have been real minors in that situation, you know. So she clearly has no boundaries at all. I would not label her as a groomer at this point because I'm unclear of the facts. But the fact of the matter is, behaving like that, she knows that younger people are on there viewing her. And people brought up her arrests. I think they don't have really anything to do with what's going on here unless there is an established pattern of stalking and harassing people. Yes, I would want to know that myself, but how much of that information am I entitled to on YouTube? So YouTube's response was atrocious, and it's still atrocious. It's a dangerous place for people to create. There are no clear protections. And yes, maybe they don't condone or support. I want to stress that under any condition, under any circumstances, that harassment, bullying, stalking, identity theft, even obsessively following and harassing people should be grounds from dismissal from YouTube or any platform that hosts a large number of people. Even if there are multiple offenses, I mean, it should happen at least after the first or second offense, but to completely dox someone and imperil their well-being, it is, to me, it's criminal. To me, it is bad. I mean, people should not be following you. Like, if you're a public figure, if you're not welcoming people to private social media that has nothing to do with YouTube, it has nothing to do with your professional social medias or anything like that. I mean, that should be constituted as harassment. That should be criminal. It shouldn't be a matter of just blocking people. The onus shouldn't be on the victim to have to do all the work to stop it. It should be a report made, an investigation made, and that people should be able to supply the documentation that they have, be listened to, and then disciplinary action taken. And far too many times are people getting away with repeated offenses like this, or very dangerous situations in which it imperils the well-being, the psychological, financial, the safety, well-being of somebody. So, I mean, YouTube isn't the only platform that has enabled this, but for the context of this video, YouTube is to blame for this. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate it. I hope you all continue to do well and you're taking exceptional care of yourselves. Enjoy the Saturday. It's going to be a really nice day outside. I'm going to have a nice time, go to the lake, do some biking, and go to support a local business that has been harassed because of their ethnic background in lieu of what is going on in the Middle East, and just having a peaceful day as best that I can. And I wish the same for you. Bye-bye for now.